I said, Oprah, I'm so sorry for not getting back to you because I'm not good with two things. I'm not good with emails and I'm not good with females.
The crown prince of one of India's oldest royal families, Prince Manvendra, had stepped out of the closet and into a firestorm of controversy when he announced to the world he was gay.
So the day I came out, very conveniently people of Rajpipla came together and they burned my effigies in the fire. And they said, oh, he's brought bad reputation to the royal families and to the Rajput community and he should be stripped of his titles, and it was a big drama.
I think what's really similar between my dad and Prince Manvendra is the bravery.
I would have lived in my palace and enjoyed the luxuries of the royal lifestyle. Just to burn myself in the fire. But see, the important thing was the hypocrisy.
Okay, so what is up, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Bear with Kalra. My name is Akash Kalra and I'm your host. And today we have a very special guest with us. Today our guest is Prince Manvendra Singh. He is a human rights activist. He is the world's first homosexual prince to come out of the closet and is highly regarded as one of the major pioneers fighting for LGBTQ rights in the nation. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And sir, thank you for taking out the time to do this with me. So, first of all, welcome to Jaipur. Have you been here before?
Yeah, Jaipur, of course, I've been several times. I was born in Ajmer.
Okay.
So we have to come to Jaipur if I fly down, then I had to come to Jaipur to visit.
So, when you say that you are the heir of, let's say, a royal family, so what all responsibilities and what all powers fall into your place?
Yeah. So see, now of course in the Democratic Republic, we don't have the powers and privileges which my family, my ancestors enjoyed couple of years, like 100 years ago. But we still are the custodians of this rich cultural heritage which has been passed to us by our ancestors. Okay. And my dynasty dates back to the 13th century.
Okay.
And I'm the 39th direct descendant of this Goyal dynasty, which is now more than 600 years. So there's a huge amount of responsibility on the shoulders to carry forward this lineage, because we have such rich cultural heritage. We have the palaces with us. We have a lot of fixtures. A lot of it's a whole kind of in those days the royal families were like each country in its own. So a lot of history, a lot of legacy which has to be preserved. So in that sense, we play a very important role in today's world. We play the role of ambassadors.
Okay.
Because if there is a problem in our area, then people, of course, they look upon us with a lot of respect, and they don't trust the politicians.
So basically, you are the unofficial voice of the public who
So
trust
yeah,
you.
exactly. So if there is any crisis or if there is any issue which needs to be addressed, then they come to us, and then we take the message forward and let the government know that okay, we need this facility, we need this infrastructure.
So basically, like a mediator
Yeah.
of public,
Yes.
who reveres you, and the government who sort of understands your
Right,
authority
right,
in the public eyes.
Yeah.
So that's a huge responsibility
Yeah.
to have in itself. So, sir, can we walk through the process with like the repercussions that you faced while when you came out for the first time? So first of all, can you mention the place and the time
Yeah.
where you came out for the first
Yes.
time?
So it was 14th of March 2006 when my first story came out in the newspapers of coming out openly as gay, as the first member of a royal family, and it was definitely an earthquake.
Back in 2006, I can
it was.
imagine.
We just had an earthquake in Kutch couple of years back, but that shock waves were restricted only to Gujarat or maybe some parts of Rajasthan. But this shock, the epicenter was Rajpipla, and the shock waves traveled all over not just India but all over the world. It was a big shock because nobody expected a member of a royal family to open up and talk
because
about.
it's a very bold statement, and like I've been studying in Jaipur for the past 4 years, and one thing that I've mentioned, that I've seen in this place is that despite the progression in technology and everything, the mentality is still very conservative,
Very
very
conservative.
backwards.
Yeah.
There was this instance when I was traveling by bus, and there was a woman who was sitting next to me, and I didn't know the stop that I had to get off. So I just asked her, "Is this Sodala?" Like I had to get off at Sodala, and she just looked at me with a very frightened face, and she just covered her face, and her husband just came. He was sitting at the back and was like, "Kyun? Kya baat kar rahe ho?" And I got very scared. Like I'm just asking the place to get down. So like right now it's like that. So I can imagine back in 2006 it would have been even worse.
Yeah. I mean, the day, in fact, coincidentally, the day I came out happened to be Holi, not that dhuleti nahi jo par wo jalate hain na wo wali Holi. So people are as into burning, having bonfires and all. So on the day I came out, very conveniently people of Rajpipla came together and they burnt my effigies in the fire. And they said, "Oh, he's brought bad reputation to the royal families and to the Rajputs community, and he should be stripped of his title, he should be banished, he should be exiled from here, he should be outcasted, he should not be invited for any public functions." And there was a big drama, and the whole town got together and they protested against me. So
individually, mentally, how did that make you feel?
I mean, I was contacted by the media when this incident happened, and I very simply put it, I said, I don't blame the people, I blame their ignorance on the subject. Because उनको मालूम ही नहीं है कि homosexuality क्या है, तो how will they know? I mean, if I am there in their place, मैं भी वही करता, I would have done the same thing if I would be in their place. So I said, I blame their ignorance, and it's duty of a person like me to educate them and tell them कि ये कोई गुनाह नहीं है to be सच बोलना. तो सबसे पहले सच बोलना गुनाह नहीं है,
वो तो वर्च्यू है.
गांधी जी ने भी सच बोला था, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ ट्रूथ उन्होंने हमको आज़ादी दिलाई. तो सच बोलना कोई बुरी बात नहीं है, बल्कि बिल्कुल ही बुरी बात नहीं है. इट्स अ गुड थिंग टू बी ऑनेस्ट, और एंड ऑनेस्टी इज ऑलवेज कंसिडर्ड बिटर. Nobody likes the truth. That is also fact. And the second thing is that the facts of the case are not known. I mean, that time even media was not that powerful to report very positive stories. So when people saw that I am they read homosexual, they were all confused. ये क्या हो रहा है? हमारे प्रिंस को कुछ बीमारी हो गई है? What happened to him? कि ये क्या है? And they were all confused. So,
yeah, because right now I would say in 2019, if someone comes out, it's a very positive reflection. Like there's a friend of mine, he came out a while ago, and he is met with nothing but positive feedback. Like I've never seen one single person say one negative thing about that, like the whole journey that he's been through. But this came after years of hard work that people like you have put in.
Right.
Like my generation, I could comfortably say that they are well educated enough to realize that this is just a normal trait. This is nothing out of the ordinary. This is not even a conversation that we should have.
So see, it was my duty. और अभी अगर मुझे पूछो तो जो लोग ने मेरे effigies जलाए थे, the people who burnt me, वही लोग आज मुझे आके respect दे रहे हैं.
Because you're a huge figure now.
Yeah, and not just that, but now they are out of that ignorance, no? And of course, media played an important role. And more than media, it was actually Oprah.
Yeah, let's come to that.
So Oprah was one person who really changed a lot of things in India.
I was watching one interview of you with Oprah, and you mentioned that because of her, like the interview that you did, it started like a turbulent effect. It started a domino effect. Sorry, it started a domino effect where for the first time in the nation's history, we started to talk about LGBTQ rights, and like we protested against the government rule of Section 377.
Yeah.
So, were you directly involved in the judicial process, or were you the pioneer of were you the voice of the people and gathered the masses for it, or were you directly involved in the judicial?
Yeah, so I wasn't directly involved in the judicial process, though I was given an opportunity because they said that since you are a member of a royal family, and मैंने ये भी बताया कि भाई हमारे history में तो homosexuality was there,
Yeah.
There's nothing new about it, कि ये तो पुरानी चीज़ है. But I decided that let me fight it out the Gandhiji way, Like as I was telling you from before, that Mahatma Gandhi has greatly inspired me for two things. One was his honesty and non-violence, ahimsa, and secondly, he भारत को आज़ादी दिलाने के लिए उनको भारत के बाहर जाना पड़ा. He had to go out and talk to people to gain support. तो मैंने भी वही किया, and I had a very good platform because ओपरा ने तो मेरे को famous कर दिया था. So I used to get so many invitations coming from all over the world. So wherever I used to go, जिसको भी मिला हूँ, जो भी leader को मिला हूँ, चाहे वो president हो, prime minister हो, ministers हैं, anyone I met, I just told them one thing, that please support us or help us to change the mindset of the Indians. इतना ही कर दोगे तो हमारा काम हो जाएगा,
Yeah, so I remember I was in school when this thing happened for the first time, and my school was in Dwarka, Delhi. So in Delhi, in Connaught Place, there was a pride, first ever pride that happened at that point of time, and being ignorant students, we did not know what that is, and we were like, ये क्या हो रहा है, ये क्या चीज़ है, and like inquisitive minds, we asked our teachers what it is, and our teacher said, बकवास है सब रखो, like इसको नहीं पढ़ना, ये चीज़ अच्छी नहीं है, and like at that point of time जो teachers बोल रहे हैं वो सच है, मतलब we did not understand, and like despite all of that propagation of education, like despite all of that, I think that through social media, through internet, through like continuous awareness from people, I think we are at a position where we are improving. But at the same point of time, we are seeing the government to be regressing in some aspects. Like, fine, Section 377 was decriminalized, it was abolished, but even right now you cannot marry. Even right now, like a few months ago, the transgender bill was passed.
Yeah.
So to tackle that, what is our way forward according to you? Like, we have spread the awareness, now people know. How do we make the government know?
Yeah, so I want to make one correction in what you stated. See, we have only got our constitutional rights. Marriage की तो बात ही नहीं हुई है.
Exactly.
We haven't yet gone to the court for marriage. Or as an activist, I mean, this is again my personal opinion. I may not, others may not agree with me. It is too early to advocate for marriage rights now. See, we have to, even though we have a legal recognition, fine, that now Supreme Court has said, so now nobody can challenge that because that is the final verdict of the country. But mindset of the people need to be changed. वो important है because आज हम जानते हैं कि भारत में बहुत सारे कायदे बनते हैं, लेकिन कितने लोग कायदे का पालन करते हैं, and how many people even know that there is a law like that. तो इसलिए now the first priority is, according to me, is that instead of advocating for marriage rights, first get this into the minds of the people कि देखो ये कायदा आया है, it's high time you come and accept the truth, सच्चाई को मानो, अपनाओ, वो पहले बात करने की ज़रूरत है. मैरिज तो का बाद में भी हो सकता है, बिकॉज इफ़ आई कंपेयर इट विद अदर कंट्रीज, स्टिल लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अमेरिका. आई मीन अभी प्रेसिडेंट ओबामा के टाइम में जाके मैरिज इक्वालिटी आया है. एंड स्टोन जब दिल्ली का अमेरिका में दे स्टार्टेड प्रोटेस्टिंग इन 1969, when the Stonewall riots happened in New York. So it took them a long, from 1969 to 2014 or 2015, it took them so many years to finally get marriage.
That is a nation that's liberal in its
exactly.
mentality.
So इसलिए it's too early to talk about marriage rights. Yeah, transgender rights have been given to the transgenders by Supreme Court. The problem with India is that India is a very good planner. It's a country where planning बहुत अच्छा होता है, लेकिन the implementation is very bad, is very poor. तो मैं जब भी गवर्नमेंट को मिलता हूँ, I tell them, remind them कि भाई हमारा देश ने कितनी प्रगति की है, हमको आपका इतना ही कोऑपरेशन चाहिए कि you help us to implement this laws, any law for that matter, in the different states, because every state has got its own government, state government है. तो if the government is with me, for example transgender की बात करूँ तो I am working for transgender rights also. तो Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India had said that after the Nalsa judgment, of the Supreme Court which had given the rights to transgenders. Transgender bill भी पार्लियामेंट में पास हुआ है, तो हर एक स्टेट में एक ट्रांसजेंडर वेलफेयर बोर्ड बनना चाहिए. And that board का क्या मतलब है कि it ensures that the rights which have been given by the Supreme Court are provided to the transgender. तो I was fighting for it for a very long time, और अभी जाके ये साल हमारे स्टेट ने, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात ने एक घोषणा की है कि ट्रांसजेंडर वेलफेयर बोर्ड बनेगा. इट वाज अनाउंस इन February. अभी नवंबर तक अभी भी बोर्ड का कोई पता नहीं है. So the announcements are made, but nothing happens. So I only feel that we need to push, we need to work a lot with the way forward is your next question was about the way forward. The way forward is education. We need to educate, and education can be any form. It could be in universities, it could be in education institutions, colleges, schools, government, with the law fraternity, in the medical field, with media, कहीं पे भी, मतलब जितना भी हम एजुकेशन करेंगे, जितना भी हम अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड करेंगे at all levels, that's ultimately going to help us.
This is a very sensitive topic that I want to address. That there are many kids who are like experiencing like the process that you were experiencing, realizing that maybe they are homosexual, maybe they have homosexual tendencies, but they know that their family is conservative, and financially and mentally and socially, like all the kids are dependent on their parents, they're dependent on their family for survival. So like you had the courage to take that bold step to come out. But when it comes to those kids, when it comes to those people like 15-year-old, 14-year-old kids who have realized that their puberty has come, and they realize, okay, fine, we have this identity. Should they come out, or should they just keep it to themselves and wait till the time they are independent, so that there is no fallback, and live a life for those many years?
Yeah. So what we are also doing is we are doing this program with schools also. तो मैं अभी 22 तारीख को जा रहा हूँ. I'm going to Delhi. There's a very progressive school. It's called Tagore International School. They've invited me in Delhi, and I met the principal, and I mean, hats off to them. They are one school which I've seen which has gone out of the way in educating the children, not just on sex education but on LGBT issues.
It should be done.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I have taken this opportunity. The principal herself came and met me and invited me. And abhi मैं 22 तारीख को I'm giving a talk to the 11th standard students for almost an hour, and with the Q&A and everything. So what we need to do is we need to sensitize the school authorities. The school, especially मैं मानता हूँ कि हर एक स्कूल में जो स्कूल का काउंसलर होता है ना, that counselor should be sensitized on these issues, so that if in the eventuality of because who is the child going to go to? If he goes to the parents will totally disagree, and they will not know how to deal with it. So if they go to some fellow classmate or student, they'll be teased around in the class, and there'll be discrimination happening. So the best person to take advice would be the school counselor. तो और हम अभी क्या कर रहे हैं कि स्कूल काउंसलर्स के जरिए we are also trying to get in touch with the schools, the organizations. Like I have an organization called the Lakshya Trust, which is in Gujarat. So we are tying up with these educational institutions that we don't want them to mentally get disturbed by the fact that they are different than others. But at the same time, we also don't want them to be living in the confused state. जैसे मैं जब स्कूल में था तो मैं तो totally confused था, I was attracted towards boys in my class. मैं सोचता था ये क्या हो रहा है, और मतलब I used to not like कि लड़के लड़कियों को छेड़ रहे हैं, I would take the side of girls के भाई why are you teasing the girls? और मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि बाकी के लड़के सब लड़कियों को छेड़ते हैं, मुझे उनको क्यों छेड़ना नहीं अच्छा लगता है. All the girls became my very good friends.
Because you
अरे ये तो बहुत अच्छा बंदा है, ये तो he's taking our side. But why that is happening, I was not understanding. There was nobody to talk to, no communication, no counselor. तो वो जो as you rightly said कि मतलब puberty is a time when the child tries to understand one's sexual identity. So it's a very delicate age, I know, but at the same time, there should not be other repercussions on the mind of the student. So it has to be very, very sensitively handled.
Yeah, so that even if the person comes out, there is no fallback.
There's no fallback, yeah.
There's no because there are so many cases in which parents banish their kids, they throw them out of their house, they disown them, or worse, they put them through like shock therapy, through all of that.
And see, gay and lesbian is fine. The worst affected are the trans persons.
Trans people,
because when you're trans, you're born as a male, but you identify as a female, or vice versa. And then they are always, they're not unhappy. Like I get so many cases of trans women or other trans men coming to me, कि मेरे को breasts क्यों आ रहे हैं, you know, because they don't like breasts, you know, they are born in a female body, but they want to be a man. अभी घर वाले तुम्हें समझेंगे नहीं ये बात को, तो where do they go? What do they do in that case, you know? Similarly if you're a trans woman, you're born as a male, but you're identifying yourself as a female. You don't like facial hair, you know. So what do you do with that? You know, how do you manage those issues of that trans person to see that they are not put into any kind of.
Also, the thing with trans people is that even though that has been a part of ancient Indian literature for so long, we somehow castrate them as someone who is born with abnormality and they cannot be accepted within our society. We cannot talk to them. They're people who we should not interact with, just look away. So that mindset has to go away in some way or the other. So like even right now, if you look at the statistics, the maximum number of murders, the maximum number of atrocities that are happening, even to the people in US, are majority of people who are minority trans people. So like despite all of the education, the prepubescent, like the mindset that has been instilled into these people is not changing to a very drastic effect. Like I was watching this like Netflix special of I forgot the name of the person. She was a comedian and she's a lesbian, and she was talking about the whole phenomena where she was brought up in a society where she was told that these people are disgusting, these people are bad. And when like she grew up and she realized that I am one of those people, she started to live in denial and started to hate herself for being that way, because she has been taught that these are the disgusting people of the society, you cannot be those people. So I am assuming in India that was a similar scenario with you as well, like when you were like in the process of realizing all of that. So can you walk us to your childhood years?
Like, so see, like I was giving example that in childhood I was living in total state of confusion. I was not doing either this is a temporary thing or is it a permanent thing, or is it a disease, is it a disorder, will I grow up to be the same or what? And then upar se, what happens is you are always living in the feeling of guilt that you're doing something wrong, you know. There's always, because see, the very stereotype is you see a man and a woman and that's a relationship. Like I still remember I was in New York as a child and we were going in some remote part of New York, and I was very small. I was just 12 or 13 or something, and for the first time in my life I saw two men kissing each other in New York, you know. And I was saying, "Ye kya hai?" You know, I mean, because you never seen first of all, to see a man and woman kisses also in public is never seen anywhere. But to see a man
walk across a college
and man and man kiss, and suddenly, before I could even realize कि क्या हो रहा है, my parents turned me away from there. कि नहीं, you can't even watch that. But it remained in my mind, you know, कि what is this, you know. And so I had this full feeling of like, you know, कि negativity, कि this is not a good thing, ये वगैरह. But again, that time there was no means of any. I mean, at least you have internet and a lot of other things you can check. That if a man kisses man, then what happens? You know, you can Google check. But there was nothing. You know, even if I remember I went to the library to see something on sexuality, and this was mentioned sexual deviation. You know, so library.
It was mentioned.
It was mentioned in the library. It was that's a sexual deviation. So what do you understand from that? You know. I'm talking in those days, you know. So I did do one thing. I went to because somebody asked me. It was very interesting. Somebody in the school once just asked me this question: Manvendra, are you gay? And I was surprised, you know, कि gay क्या होता है, you know. So then I just went and looked up in the dictionary. I said, what is the meaning of gay? And it turned out it means happy. I said, yes, I am happy. I am gay and I am happy, you know. So I used to think it is that, you know.
Incidentally, that was the name of your one TEDx talk that you gave a while ago.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about that. Like while I was researching about you, while I was reading up on like what should I ask you, because like, this is a very uncharted territory for me as well. So I was going through your podcast interviews, and your TEDx talks. So with these talks, what do you think that the optimal output should be? Like, what do you like want to achieve with these 20 minutes addresses to the audience? Like, what is your message that you want to get across?
See, my main aim is that as much as information gets disseminated in any part area, that is my main focus, because as I was telling you in the past, even on today's days, there are so many myths and misconceptions on a sensitive topic like homosexuality, even within the educated people, even graduates, and I've seen doctors who are totally, much more qualified than me. They also have their misconceptions. So it is very important that the right information goes through these mediums, and I think TED is one very good medium through which even though the audience is limited to around 100 whatever in the class,
people.
but then once it goes on YouTube and things like that, then this is mass media, so the masses get to know the reality. And as I was telling you in the past also, that any kind of education will be helpful to us, because if we have to change the mindset of the people, then we have to start now. And the more people you educate, more you are aware, I think that's the only way you can bring about a change in the society.
So don't you think that having your own personalized channel, because like we are moving from traditional media to digital media slowly, like this venture of mine is just to capitalize on that market as well. So like, don't you think that having your own social media presence or having your own YouTube channel and posting regularly would be even more effective?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I'm working on that as well.
Okay.
I'm not a very good person with social media, and I'm still belonging to the very old traditional method, because that's where when I was invited by Oprah, and she attempted to invite me.
I wanted to ask you this.
You have to listen to this first.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you, but when she invited me and I didn't reply to her message in the first year, first when email came, I said, Oprah, I'm so sorry for not getting back to you, because I'm not good with two things. I'm not good with emails, and I'm not good with females. so that's why I was not good with social media, but now I'm kind of getting used to it. So you have very correctly said that it is high time that I should keep posting my own stories and through videos and like YouTube channels and all, where a lot of information can go. So it is in the process. I'm trying to build that.
Okay. Because you are a very well-renowned personality. Like when the speakers were unveiled for our TEDx talk, so I was looking at all the speakers, and I just asked the convener who was like heading the fest, and I just asked him, I have to have a podcast with this person. Please arrange it any way you can. And thankfully he did, and thankfully you agreed as well. Like for the audience who's listening to you, can you just mention all your organizations, all your welfare projects, so that anyone who wants to get involved with you can in some way or
Yes, definitely. So I'm the chairperson and founder of Lakshya Trust, which is the first community-based organization in Gujarat working dedicated towards the empowerment of the LGBT community. If anyone who wants to visit, we have a website. If you just type Lakshya Trust on the Google map, you will be able to get the website, and I can give you the website as well if anyone who wants to.
I'll put the link in description.
Yeah, you can volunteer. You can come and volunteer for us. You can, if you need any assistance. We have a lot of services available, and I am also the ambassador consultant for an organization called AIDS Healthcare Foundation, which is the world's largest and the oldest organization working for HIV testing and treatment. And I represent the entire country, India, for this organization, which has its presence in 43 countries over the world.
there is one thing that is what we are seeing right now is that even though that government has not like they have decriminalized the Section 377 thing, but at the same point of time, there are so many people like as the kids I mentioned that who are thrown out of their families, who are thrown out of who are disowned by their parents. There's a statistic that shows that maximum of those people go into like trades of sex working.
Yeah.
So, is there any way we can address that issue, tackle that issue, so that there is safety for those people at least? Like, is anything being done in that scenario? Or
So, very, very correct and very good question you asked me, because I am currently in the process of developing a LGBT campus. I mean, it's not will be as big as this this campus, but yeah, it's in a small way. I'm developing this campus, and the idea of developing this campus is to make the community financially independent and socially independent. And with financial independence, all these issues which you are saying, that people are getting thrown out and not knowing how to handle the situation in life and socially outcast, and prevent them from going to sex work and prostitution, and build their capacities and train them in certain skills, so that they can have their own earning and earn with dignity and respect. That's important. And of course, I have my other agenda as well, that prostitution and all this leads to unsafe sex behavior and will give rise to HIV as well. So it would also help, and try to see that we give them maximum employment opportunities. I'm working with a lot of corporate houses as well to see how we could. In fact, I'm going to inaugurate the first job fair for the LGBT community in Delhi on 23rd. It's happening in Delhi. So that this job fair is the first one of its kind, where we'll have walk-in interviews for the LGBT community. So there'll be corporates coming in. You can just get your CV and apply for a job. So these are the ways in which we will be able to curb.
I have one reservation about this, and I might be completely out of line for having that thought as well. But the thing is that it's my personal opinion, and I might be very wrong about this, and I just wish to address that. If we treat people who are homosexual differently, with preferential treatment, we treat them differently than normal people, aren't we like subjugating even more of a bias?
Exactly. I 100% agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why this campus, which I'm developing in one of my royal establishments, is one of the kind in the world, which is not just going to be addressing LGBT, but I call it LGBTQA. And many people ask me what is A, and I said A means ally.
Okay.
I believe in creating allies. If we create more and more allies, we make ourselves more inclusive and not exclusive. And that's how we can mainstream our issues in society, normalize our issues, so that we are not given any preferential treatment, but we are treated like any human beings.
Exactly.
So
I think the scope of this conversation
Yes.
should be to end this
yes,
conversation.
exactly. So I am a believer of that. I'm a firm believer of inclusive.
I was very
inclusion.
worried asking that question.
No,
because-
definitely, and it's a very valid point you make. Unfortunately, not many people agree with me. They want to compartmentalize and they want to have exclusion. I said no. If you want to be treated equally, please include yourselves in all things, and don't try to behave as if you are special.
Because when my friend came out to me, I just said, okay, cool, how does it matter? Like, fine. And to him, he told me that this is the best response that you could ever give me. So that's when I realized, and when he told other people, they started acting a little differently, they started talking a little differently, they started, being extra sweet, making sure that he's never hurt, and that I asked him if that's better way to go, if was my way better.
That's why we are called drama queens. We do like to do a lot of drama, so that we attract the attention of people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, see, when you say about coming out straight, don't come out. You don't.
Yeah,
you never,
exactly. The coming,
it
should be so fluid that
exactly that you don't have to.
you don't have to tell anyone. Like if you are gay, then it's fine.
You're
you don't
gay,
have to make a statement for that.
Yes.
So like that is the whole goal of this conversation according
Yeah,
to
but
you?
my coming out was for a purpose. I wanted to create that hullabaloo kind of drama.
And what drove you
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
your
Because in India nothing happens without drama. You
Yeah.
agree with me,
So, like, what was the trigger point in your life that told you, I have to do this? Because it would have been very easy for you to not say anything.
Yeah, I would have lived in my palace and enjoyed the luxuries of the royal lifestyle. मुझे क्या ज़रूरत थी, just to burn myself in the fire. But see, the important thing was the hypocrisy. It was the hypocrisy and bigotry. They were the two instigators which prompted me to make this decision, because I have been working for the community for a very years now, almost since 95, 96. But I had seen that people are not ready to accept us, and they have been so much of there is a lot of homophobia, rather, I would say, and a lot of homophobia is coming from the community itself. That is also another thing I've observed. So I wanted to break that. I wanted to break a lot of myths. One of the myth was that if you are belonging to an upper class family, you can never be gay. हाँ, तो मैंने कहा भाई मैं तो भी अपर क्लास में हूँ और कितना अपर चाहिए, या सो वो भी था. तो there were number of reasons, and I wanted that people should debate, should talk about this subject, because as I was telling you, sex education की बात नहीं होती है हमारे देश में, in spite of having खजूराहो and कामा सूत्रा. तो homosexuality के ऊपर तो कौन बात करेगा. So बस मुझे यही था कि people should talk, people जितना हम आवाज़ नहीं उठाएंगे हम बदलाव नहीं ला सकते.
Exactly.
तो मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, मेरे को डेथ थ्रेट्स भी आए, मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, सच्ची बात बोलने में मुश्किलें आती है, पर मैं बोलूँगा और जो होगा जो देखा जाएगा.
That takes a lot of guts, sir. I thank you a lot for sparing your time. I know you are incredibly busy, so thanks a lot for sparing the time to do this, because for me, I really wanted to have this conversation for a very long time. I have done like 3 podcasts till now, and when I was writing down the plan, like the conversations that I have to have, this was one of the top 3, and I could not find the right person to do so. I was briefly in touch with my friend was briefly in touch with this organization called NAS Foundation,
Yeah.
and we did not get any conversation back. Like, we were trying to reach them, but there was no communication, and thankfully sir, you came, and my wish came true. I think this was a very productive conversation, and I hope that we can stay in touch, and
Surely.
if I can help you out in any way, like with the platform that I'm building, or with any other, in any capacity, I will be more than willing to help you out.
Thank you.
And so good luck for your talk tomorrow.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you, sir, for being with me.